Today's tutorial will cover Lessons 13 and 14 on Zurn.org for Mission 2. Our goal for these lessons is to be able to convert from smaller to larger measurements and from larger to smaller measurements. We will know we have been successful when we are able to complete Mission 2 Lessons 13 and 14 on Zurn.org. Let's get started. For this lesson, I'm not going to go through the entire how to solve portion of the lesson because this is something we've done on multiple occasions. But I do want to go over a couple of tips that will make solving this easier for you. The first is I want to call your attention to up here, it will have the conversion for. This is something that you'll need to know and will make things much easier for you. The next thing I want to call your attention to is a step that Zurn would like for you to do that would be something you probably would normally skip over. And without knowing that it's there, it could really trip you up. The very first step that they want you to do is to break down the factors that you're going to be converting. And so here, they're wanting you to say, okay, your problem would be 3 times 1 week. So they're having you do this portion first before they have you break it down into days. It's not until the second step that they have you convert the week into the number of days. How many days are in 1 week? That's what you would enter here for the second step. Then you would do your actual multiplying. 3 times 7 equals how many days? This is another step that I don't think people would typically do when solving this problem, but Zurn does want you to do it. You're now going to come back up and answer your question completely up here. So now that we have solved, we know that 3 weeks equals 21 days. Remember, in a problem like this, you want to solve it just the way we always have, multiplying multiples of 10. Apply 16 and 2/10 times 1, and then count the number of zeros in your problem and add that to the of your answer. Then count the number of places after your decimal, and that's how many places should be after the decimal in your answer. In lesson 14, we are converting using smaller units and converting them into larger units. For some of this, we'll be using fractions, and for some of this, we'll be using. When we are putting something like this into a fraction, the numerator is what goes on top. The numerator is the number of how many that we have. We are showing 1 day, so this is the number that we have, our numerator, and it goes on top. Out of 7 days total that equal a week. So there's a total of 7. This is our denominator, which goes on the bottom. If we were to write 14 days as a fraction, we would have 14 on top as a numerator and 1 on the bottom as a denominator because we have 14 days and what we're dividing by is 1 day. So then if we were to multiply these, we would say 14 times 1 is 14, and then the 1 that would be underneath the 14 would be 1 times 7, so it would be 7. So now we want to decide how many weeks of 7 days will 14 make. We can make 2 groups of 7 from 14. 14 divided by 7 equals 2. So it would make 2 weeks. So just like in lesson 13, they're going to have you do this step that most people would not do if they were normally solving this outside of Zurn. But Zurn asked us to do it, so that's what we're going to do. So here we have to decide. Our factor is 195 centimeters times 1 centimeter, which will later change to meters. So now we're changing it to meters. Well, a centimeter is 1/100th of a meter. Remember that they're giving you the conversion up here. And now we need to multiply. We do this the same way that we've done this before. 195 times 1. How many places are after the decimal point? 2. So I need 2 places after my decimal point in my answer. So my decimal goes here. Remember, you'll find your conversion up here at the top. What you are converting, 49 days, is your numerator, and what you are dividing it into weeks, is your denominator. Then you just divide your numerator by your denominator. So 49 divided by 7. Try solving this. Tim has a container that can hold 431 milliliters of liquid. How many liters of liquid can his container hold? Our conversion is 1 milliliter equals 1,000th of a liter. So Tim's container can hold how many liters of a liquid? How would we solve this? Right, 431 milliliters times 1,000. Well, we know that 1 times anything is itself. So we know that our answer is going to contain the numbers 4, 3, and 1, and we need to decide where to put the decimal. In our conversion, how many place values are after the decimal? That's how many place values should be in your answer. Stop and then come back and compare your answer to the one here. We know that 1 times anything is itself, so 431. There are 1, 2, 3 places after the decimal in our conversion, so there should be 3 places after the decimal in our answer. Hope this helps.